Welcome to the Impactful Engineer Project. I'm Steve Maxey, and with my co-host and brother Jake, we are here to bring you guidance, fresh ideas, and the tools to help you become an impactful engineer.
Well, it's funny that you say that we want to talk about that subject that you brought up before, but then yesterday I was commenting on someone's post. This person is a coach specifically for females in male-dominated industries, and it's in the engineering realm. STEM focus is listed on their page, but they're awesome. They have a lot of good shit to share. I love the messaging, and so I jump in there. Good old Jake Maxey.
Yep, super excited.
Totally excited and just I put my comment down, I support this so much. It was about bias, right? And I'm just like, yeah, man, because she had a really good message about just like, in very short, and Jake Brain was, there's bias. Overcome it or don't overcome it. Period.
Yeah.
That's what I put. And I was like, I may have, I said some other things probably thinking that I was delivering a soft message or like trying to understand or whatever, which I really do. But then when it comes out of my mouth or when I type it real quick, it's just like, basically it came out really harsh. Like, hey, yeah, there's bias. You could either you get over it, try harder and still get to the same place that people that don't have bias against them get, or you can't, or you won't, Yeah. And to me, I'm just like, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
But some white male in a male dominated industry that's got no problems is just like,
Yeah.
Is that message going to be clear, or is the
Is it
person
gonna be
going to receive it
Yeah.
and it's going to be heard right and well intentioned? And fuck no, it's not, because I was an asshole. So. But learning, like being able to identify that is big at first. Good for me here. Toot my own horn a little bit, but then it's very important that if I'm going to be in that space with that audience, if I want to say something, I do want it to land. So I really need to figure out how to say it differently, right?
Yeah.
Set it up a little different.
Yeah.
So working on that.
So I do have a comment on just that concept in general, though, right? Where there is a bias, and you do have to just accept that there is bias in reality. But to overcome bias, you have to bridge that gap and surpass it like excessively by being undeniably great at whatever the thing is, right? So if you are the coach, or if your friend is the coach's son on a baseball team and he's not as good as you, you're the best player, but by only a little bit, and the coach's son gets the starting position and you don't, you're sitting on the bench, right? There's bias. But if you are undeniably great at that position, like it would be ridiculous for them not to start you and have the coach's son on the bench. Then, that's how you overcome that kind of bias. So you have to reflect and be like, yes, there's always going to be a bias in whatever situation I'm in, and it could even be towards me or in my favor. But, and if it is in your favor, being undeniably overly great at whatever it is will dispel the, I don't want to say hate speech, but the commentary from the sidelines that, it's just because they're the coach's son. But no, it's like, he is yes, he's the coach's son, but he is so good at that, it would be ridiculous not to put him in that position.
Yeah.
So no matter what, you should always try to be the absolute best at whatever you're doing. And then regardless of the situation, and then any kind of bias, whether it's in your favor or against you, doesn't matter.
Dude, I'd actually never thought of that before.
Mm-hmm.
So be so just focused and great, and the bias will be there. But if you are the one that is, I guess, quote unquote, benefiting from the bias, right? Like the coach's son, he has an easier time getting into the starting position. But if he's so super great, it'll quiet the people that say it's only because the bias is that you're in that position.
Yes.
They don't get to say that, right?
Yes.
And the same goes the other way. It's like, oh, you're not in that position because of the bias. Well, I am in this position despite the bias because I'm so great I overcame it. I like that. Two different directions there.
Yeah.
And mine was more about communication, but that fires me up for performance, dude.
Yeah. And it really, it just takes away the concern of biasism at all. Like you don't have to worry about it because you are just so focused on being great at what you do.
Nice.
So a little tidbit for those listening.
Hey, it helps. Dude, that helped me out, man. Mm-hmm. I like the performance aspect.
Yeah.
Of it. Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah. To hell with
doesn't matter. To hell with it. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter because
just be great.
The best anyway.
Yeah.
And then you get slapped in the face a few times. That's all right.
Yeah.
That's cool, man. What were we talking about before? What
I don't even remember
this whole discussion. So you were at a car show this weekend.
Oh, okay. Yes. I know.
Yeah. And you were talking shit.
Yes. Yeah.
So tell us about that.
Yeah. So this past weekend, I took some R&R time off from work, and I was at so I have a Skyline GTR. It's like one of my favorite cars. And so I was at this Skyline GTR festival event. First time inaugural in the United States, of course. I wouldn't miss it. Anyways, I'm there. A buddy flew in from Arizona. We're hanging out. Another buddy locally came with us. And so it's just the three of us. We're walking around and we're just having a great time. But as guys do when we get together and in an atmosphere around, whatever interests us, right? We just start casually talking shit, right? And it's not like a negative. Well, of course it's negative, but you know what I mean. It's not we're really trying to hurt people's feelings. We're just talking to ourselves. Like no one's listening to us, and we're just like, oh yeah, I wouldn't put those wheels in that car. That's all the fitment on that sucks. And
what
kind of
done it that way?
Yeah, what kind of color paint scheme is that? That's bullshit. And but in the midst of that, it actually got me thinking. It's a lot of people when they are talking shit. It really boils down to, and you always have this example of bullying too. It stems from a point of insecurity or jealousy or envy, etc.
You're trying to gain power where you're trying to grab
in your
power
own mind.
In your own mind, where you see a deficiency in power and you want to fill the gap.
Yeah, because for the listeners, my Skyline is on jack stands, right? It doesn't run right now. So if I was at the event with my car and it's all done up exactly how I want, would I be walking around to other people's shit, talking badly about their choices and their love of their hobby? Absolutely not. I would be like, dude, that's awesome. That's great, dude. Oh yeah. And they would reciprocate and talk about my car, and we just go back and forth, and we have different tastes and all that kind of stuff, right?
Yeah.
But I didn't. My car is back at home on jack stands with a bunch of dust and shit all over it. And I'm at this event and, around other people's passions and examples of their hard work. And I'm just, casually talking shit about it. Now, it wasn't nefarious. That was the word I was looking for earlier. But, it's just kind of that you get in that mode. And so you have to stop and think and pull yourself back because, what are you really accomplishing? You're not accomplishing anything other than, temporarily making yourself feel good. And then later on, you actually feel worse because you realize that you're being an asshole. So I guess the lesson there is don't fall into the trap of talking shit or carrying on gossip, right? Like at work. When, if you were in a different position, you wouldn't be doing that same thing.
Yeah. You know how much improvement I've made when I was at work just talking shit?
0.
Yeah, pretty much.
Or negative.
Maybe even negative. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it just goes back.
Mm-hmm.
And then those communications don't end with you. You think they do, right? They don't. They get spread around and people talk about it. And so you're just going completely backwards.
Yeah.
So you could have been home, Steve. You could have skipped the event, been home working on your GTR, right?
That is very true. I totally could have.
Right.
Yeah. And if you're at work and you're casually gossiping, what's to say that the person that you're having a conversation with won't say something else to someone else, right? And then it just spreads, and then that's how that toxic conversation spreads like wildfire.
Yeah. And never ever will that help anything.
No.
Never ever will that help you get to the next promotion or get better at your job. Like, bottom line, it just doesn't. Right?
Yeah.
At all. It might make you feel temporarily good, but good about what?
Mm-hmm.
It didn't make any progress on anything.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's interesting that while at work, I personally am aware of that gossip most of the time, right? Every once in a while, you may find, or I find myself fall into that trap, but I quickly pull back out of it because I'm highly aware of that. But while I was at the car event, it took me a day to realize what I was doing,
Yeah.
and it's just like, oh shit.
Well, there's a good point there too. It's like, don't try to get rid of the stuff. Just try to deal with it quicker and better than you used to, because
Yeah.
it's very hard to completely change and eradicate something out of your feeling and emotion. But you can be aware and then just change your behavior. But because I'm a recovering, get on the soapbox and fucking yell at about everything.
Yeah.
I have all the great ideas and no one's doing them, and this is stupid. Like I used to do that a lot.
Yeah.
But and I still would if I didn't just go, gosh, I'm doing it again, and I need to stop doing that. So it's I think it's more about detection and then deterrence, or like detection and then pivot.
Yes.
Over like, man, why do I think this way? And then just trying to, how do I stop thinking this way? It's like, I don't think I've ever stopped thinking a certain way. Thoughts have always just come in, and then I just know what to do with the thoughts or not do with them when they come in.
Apply the filter.
Yeah, apply the filter. I'm still largely the same person I was 20 years ago. It's just, I have different behaviors based on what I think now. I take different actions, filter out things. Yeah. But anyway, career wise, this is our we want to tie this back somehow to, being an impactful engineer, right? And in that career setting, this can wreak havoc on your career. So be aware of it.
Yeah, it'll drastically alter the perception of you by others if you are an excessive gossiper. So don't do that.
If you have that natural tendency.
Yeah,
for sure.
But yeah, the car event was great though.
yeah. I bet you, dude. I saw some of the videos. Just I mean, I like that. I get excited by seeing that kind of stuff too. I'm not so motivated to go seek it out, but you're sharing some of that stuff. I'm like, this is where we were heading, when we were younger for a while. It's like, oh man, we could get there, not me, but like, you were building cars all the time and making them go super freaking fast. All your friends had just super fast, whatever it was.
Yeah.
Trans Am or Camaro or whatever. Just like, let's just shove something in there that makes this thing do a quarter mile in 6 seconds, man. Let's go. It's like, wow. So it's pretty cool to see a little Skyline, just flying down the track.
Yeah. 3,000 horsepower would do that.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Dang.
Yeah.
Well, I bet that was a lot of fun, man.
Oh yeah. No, it was good. It was a good chance to kind of step away a little bit. So
yeah. What did I do? Oh, I dug a trench for some electrical.
Yeah. Okay.
And in the Northeast, I wanted to go pretty deep because I wanted to be below the freeze line, so 36 inches ought to do it.
Okay.
It's really deep to go with a hand tool.
Yeah, that sounds miserable.
Got a great workout though.
I bet you did.
Just put a podcast in or some good old workout music and just dig, man. Dig. And then you accidentally hit the side of it and you're dragging new dirt into the hole. And it's just like, no, I'm like 3 swings back again. Damn it.
Yeah.
But yeah. So not as much fun as hanging out at the racetrack, but
yeah. All right. Well, hopefully there's a lesson or even two, because I think that our first topic had a smaller lesson in there as well, or a larger lesson even.
Yeah, man. Figure out how your messaging is being received. That's number one. which is hard to do. It takes a long time to figure that out. People aren't always honest up front. I appreciate the honesty that this person has in challenging me on how people hear what I have to say.
Yes.
That's how I learn. I had a few career moments where people have sat me down and said, this is where you're at. You're a great engineer. You have good intentions, but this is where you're at. And I'm like, oh, how do I not be there? Well, do this. Cool. I will do that.
Yeah. I will try that out and see what happens.
Yeah. And I can tell you, much better these days.
Yeah.
You could see how you behave now and the progress you make over 5 years. And then you could see, and this is regardless of technical skill, by the way.
Yes, absolutely.
This does not have anything to do with the experience I've been gaining by learning new technical things. Separate from that, how far I've made it in 5 years by behaving a certain way, and then how far you can make it in the next 3 by behaving a certain different way based on all the same inputs in the same working environment. And I could tell you that the last 3 to 4 years, I've learned 5,000% and gotten 5,000% better than the first 5, right? All because of mindset and attitude changes.
Yeah, absolutely.
And how people hear you.
Yeah, I mean, the first 8 or so years, might be off on the number, but roughly of my career, it was pretty status quo, right? Not a ton of growthy, some just from gaining experience and changing jobs and all that kind of stuff. But then, I mean, we've talked about it before on the show where I had a kind of a health crisis, I guess, and in the process of that, my mindset shifted over that next year. And then from that next year onward, the slope of my career progression and how effective I was drastically steeper. So.
And I can hear somebody saying, well, guys, this is just the natural progression of a career in engineering. It's going to be slow and individual contributor for many years, and then you're going to start taking on these new things. That's a different path, and so it has a different trajectory. And I would reject that completely.
Yep,
because I had an engineer start with me just 2 years ago, 2 maybe 3, right? And their natural ability to be farther ahead than I was with this intelligence and these soft skills, plus being super open to my influence, and I was pouring everything I had into them. Dude, this person, it no longer works where I work. They've been just propelled into this new trajectory. Where they're at right now, doing what they're doing, is where I was at 7 years.
Yeah, I know who you're talking about.
Of course. Of course. And okay, and you can make the argument I'm one person and maybe I just sucked. Sure, you can make that argument. I would have you talk to everyone that knew me in my career so far, and it'd be a different story. But just the amplification, like me knowing what I know now versus he came in with that, pretty much.
Yeah.
A lot of growing to do, of course. But guys, this is real. What I'm trying to say is it's real stuff. Figure it out.
Absolutely. I mean, I've seen engineers come in and for the first 9 months, 12 months of their career, they had a traditional engineering mindset. And you could tell that the career trajectory was not going to be stellar. And then you are able to assist in that perspective shift into a much more robust mindset. And then all of a sudden that career just takes off like nobody's business. And then they're 3 years into their career and they've been promoted twice and they're doing fantastic and they have a stellar reputation within the company, et cetera, et cetera. So it's the point in which your career slope is almost flatline to where it's climbing like Mount Everest. Is that shift is when you shift your mindset, period.
Absolutely right. And on the other side of that, be patient.
Yeah.
Be aggressive, change the mindset, but also be patient.
Yep. Do the work first and it will happen.